edition of WeatherScope is sponsored by Cadillac. The great performers are always creating a higher standard.
This is WeatherScope.
A winter storm is bringing messy weather to much of the east this morning. Most of the region is seeing rain, but in some parts of the northeast we're seeing sleet, freezing rain, and snow, while in Florida we have severe weather. Good morning, I'm Vivian Brown, and welcome to this edition of WeatherScope. We have special coverage, and with all the details, here's Bruce Edwards in the Forecast Center. Good morning, Bruce.
Thank you, Vivian, and good morning, everyone. Indeed, we do have a mess in the northeast, but we have severe, life-threatening weather across the Tampa Bay vicinity and the sun coast of Florida. We look at the satellite picture right now, and it shows the intense moisture coming in from the Gulf of Mexico. You can almost see a little kink here, a little area of low pressure helping to stir up the severe weather. Also another upper-level low-pressure system here that is going to join this front later, and that will enhance the rain tomorrow over the Carolinas. But for right now, we do have the front and warm, moist air out ahead of it, and coming in is the instability, some shear aloft, and we are talking about the potential for severe weather. You see the red shaded region? That is where the Severe Storms Prediction Center has issued a tornado watch in effect until 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time this morning for south, central, and central Florida. Now here's a look at the radar out of Florida. You can see some pretty good storms here up around White House and over towards Cross City and Cedar Key across northern Florida, approaching Jacksonville, Ocala, and Gainesville. But it's the intense thunderstorms and the severe storms that are ripping through the Tampa Bay vicinity. Now, let me repeat all the counties under warnings. Take cover immediately. Pinellas and Hillsborough County, tornado warning until 9:35 Eastern Time. A tornado was spotted 6 miles northeast of Pinellas Park, moving northeast to 35. It could be through Brandon and Ybor City. So again, very nasty. That's what this line of storms right here coming through the Tampa Bay vicinity. Now, farther south from that, Hardee and DeSoto counties under a tornado warning until 10:10. Radar indicated 3 tornadoes, one 7 miles east of Wauchula along State Route 66, another located near the Hardee-DeSoto line about 8 miles northeast of Arcadia, east of US 17, and still the 3rd tornado on the Sarasota-DeSoto County line, 6 miles west of Fort Ogden. That's right here with these thunderstorms coming through. So again, the threat for tornadoes, take shelter immediately if you're in the path of one of these storms. A very nasty situation shaping up here. Now, farther north along the coast, we've had some heavy rain on the Georgia coast here along I-95. The Golden Isles really getting soaked this morning. Jekyll, St. Simons, on up towards Tybee Island. You can see some heavy storms off of Myrtle Beach and Wilmington offshore right now, but still moderate showers. And if you follow I-95 here, you can see that the heavy weather is generally to the east or along I-95, lighter rains to the west, but still very wet highways here, and a second line of precipitation right in through here across the western parts of the Cumberland Plateau, right in through here. Most of this is light rain from near Montgomery and Birmingham and Anniston up towards Atlanta and Chattanooga, and occasionally moderate rain right here around Knoxville, Tennessee. But most of that precipitation is very, very light. But of course you can handle that. It's the severe weather threat that we have over the Tampa Bay, Sarasota, Bradenton vicinity. Take shelter immediately if you live in those areas. Again, tornadoes indicated by radar all throughout that region. Now, a different type of problem across the northeast. That problem is some snow, a little bit of ice. Unfortunately, it's only a little bit of ice, and some potentially flooding rains. Satellite picture in the northeast shows the moisture continuing to feed east up and down the eastern seaboard. We do have some snow in the lakes, and our rain-snow line, as you can see, is running with this trough of low pressure, dipping down into Pennsylvania and then up into central New England with, again, just a little bit of ice being reported in parts of Pennsylvania as well as into western New York State. Now, temperatures, of course, are very critical. It is moving and it is warming up fairly rapidly. Now, Burlington, Vermont's at 15 degrees. Just a couple of hours ago, they're down to 4 degrees, so it's come up pretty good. New York's holding steady at 36, but it is above freezing, which is critical here. And as you can see, there is the freezing line. It does dip down here into central Pennsylvania, but then back up into Canada. And so we are seeing to the north of that, the sub-freezing temperatures, the ice, and then to the south, of course, the precipitation, mainly in the form of rain. Once again, we've seen a little bit of freezing rain and drizzle right here around the Rochester, New York vicinity, but again, fairly light right, moving on through. Most of this is just plain old snow off to the north. Here's a little different perspective. The northeast corridor catching some snowflakes right here, of course, but then New York City getting a little rain and a mixture with snow right through New York where it's 36 degrees. A little bit of ice as you get down here into central Pennsylvania, but mainly it's rain, and at times moderate to heavy around Baltimore and Washington with this area coming on through here. The ground is pretty well saturated, so it could lead to some flooding in this region. Now back into eastern Ohio, the rain is beginning to depart as we get the front moving through. We see up through Wheeling and Pittsburgh and East Palestine. We're talking about some rain showers here. A little bit of snow up here near Detroit and Windsor, but not a big problem. Once again, you'll see snow in northern and central New England, and we could see up in the mountains as much as 6 to 12 inches of snow. Lesser amounts towards the Berkshires and the Adirondacks, about 3 to 6. Otherwise, just a light coating in the mountains. The rest of the region should talk mainly about rain and some wet highways. And that's just about all. So that's the situation. Severe weather around Tampa Bay and Florida with tornadoes and some snow in northern New England and